it's easy to share from that place of knowledge, from that place of like expertise, without realizing that, oh, I'm sharing this thing about hormones in such a complex, complicated way because it makes sense to me.
Right.
But my ideal client who wants to come work with me probably is so confused by this. Let's talk about some of your biggest lessons as you are, learning to grow your business and market yourself. Like, what were some big things that you started to learn? Big ahas.
Number one is definitely the mental blocks. You're going to face them over and over and over again. And it's going to be the same things over and over again.
Yep.
But learning how to manage those and learning how to switch that positive voice on, and just being very understanding for yourself and your time and pushing through that. And then for sure, marketing, that was huge. Like that is starting to become huge for me now. When I've been out of the mentorship since July, and I'm still like, doing the motions, and I'm just starting to learn that networking and marketing are not just something you just turn on. Like it's definitely a learning process.
Yeah.
And let's see, I think that's about it. I mean, there's so much. There's just so much. I mean, like the marketing, the copywriting, the mental blocks, the being vulnerable and just reaching out and not being afraid to share what you do and who you are and how you want to help people. And I feel like that's another thing too, is like just remembering why you're doing it in the first place.
Totally.
Because you want to help other people, and don't ever feel ashamed about reaching out to people and saying, hey, like, I can help you. What do you, like, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about this.
Absolutely. And I love that. And that's so key, because I think a lot of us get caught up in this idea that with social media, like, oh, just show up and post something and like go run away and hide. And it's like, that's not how it works. Like, we all wish it worked that way. But specifically when it comes to marketing your business, social media is about being social. It's about showing up and connecting and building relationships with people. And I think a lot of us forget that. And don't get me wrong, having powerful content to share online sure is going to bring you people where you can post and kind of run away and hide. But that's not a marketing plan per se. It's about having the best of both, knowing how to show up and create great content and being able to connect and build community and be in conversation with people. So, that's really important. It's about, again, being social with people.
Yes.
So one of the biggest things that I've seen in you is like your confidence. I remember when you first joined, and then like where you are now, and like, what have you learned about yourself, and just like, how does that newfound confidence, like you really stepped in and grew into that?
You know what? My friends always are like, I don't know how you do what you do. I'm like, I've learned that anybody can do it if they really want to. You just have to, like I said, those mental blocks. And there's a lot for me. Like, I'm an introvert. If I could have it my way, I'm hanging out in the house majority of the time, and I'm talking to nobody. Like, that's just kind of how I am. But I've also learned, like, how do I want to put this in the words? I feel like confidence really is key when it comes to just anything, like moving forward and trying to accomplish anything. And when I'm trying to start this business and be present on social media and be present on TikTok, I would try to just like kind of do what other people do. But then I was like, but that's just not who I am. Like, I want people to know who I am. Like, my husband loves me. My kids think I'm hilarious. Like, my friends think I'm like amazing too. I'm like, why wouldn't I want to show people this side of me? Like, why do I want to hide that and try to be something I'm not?
Totally.
So I started just like being more of myself on social media, sharing the things that I love that could benefit other people, and just sharing my passions with my family, my friends, because normally I would never like mention like, I'm holistic. I like to do things natural way, because I'm always afraid people are going to be like, oh, and then argue with me or something,
like judge. Yeah.
And then I just started saying my truth, and I started seeing how well people responded, and all those insecurities I was feeling about being who I was didn't even exist. It was all in my own head. Like I was judging myself before I was even being myself. So
Mm.
I started to see that, and I was like, this is more fun this way. Like I like showing up for who I am, what I want to be, and it's just a lot more fun that way.
That is so good. You said that so beautifully. Thank you so much for your transparency and honesty with that because it's true. It's easy to get caught up in what other people are doing, and we see what they're doing, and because they have X amount of followers, it looks like they're successful, so we should just follow along in their steps and what they're doing. And then yeah, it kind of pulls us out of and pulls us farther away from who we truly are. And
Yes.
and that's hard. That is actually really hard to try and build and create a business when you're not being real to yourself.
Yeah, I agree. 100% harder when you're not being authentic and true. And then when you think about it as a perspective, as in um, bringing in clients, you want to be really connected with them on a way that is true to yourself, which I've, learned. And I don't want to attract people who have different beliefs than me. I want to attract people who are like, I believe the same things you do. Let's do this together and let's conquer
Yes.
whatever it is, whatever problem they're suffering with. You know what I mean?
Totally. 100%. Oh, that's so powerful. And I know so many people can relate to that. And I get how, especially in the beginning stages too, when you're just starting out online. And I remember when you were just starting out on TikTok too. It was awesome. And like you really made a commitment to showing up on there.
Yes.
And yeah, like I get how in the beginning stages it's so uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable to be visible and share your face and talk and share. But I think that it becomes more uncomfortable when we're just not being really honest and real in who we are, right?
I
When we're
agree.
trying too hard, it actually becomes more uncomfortable.
Yeah. Like, don't
Yeah.
try too hard.
Yeah.
Do you have some useful, like, useful tips, useful information? Like most of the time it's like right on the spot for me. Like, oh, I really want some candles in my house. Okay, I want some non-toxic candles. Okay, I'm gonna share with what I find with everybody. Like,
Amazing.
done.
Yeah. Right? It's that easy. It
Yeah,
actually can be that easy, but it's just crazy how much we complicate it.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, we totally complicate it. Okay, so you're in FDN and you're going through the mentorship. And how did you find because as you were learning things in the mentorship program and about your business, and at the same time you're in FDN and learning all these things about hormones and health and well-being and all of the
Mhm.
things and testing, did they complement each other in a way so that you were like, oh, I'm learning this thing about hormones, and then I learned about list building and lead magnets, so maybe I'll create my lead magnet around this thing. Like, how were they kind of complementing each other and helping you?
So they did. So while I was learning things, I was going through the process of creating my lead magnet, and I'm like, I've heard of a lot of people struggling with like, I don't know how I want to put this, but once you become so deep into knowing how to be super healthy and like, doing all the motions, you forget how to relay that message in a very slowed down way so that other people can understand
Right.
it. And I
Yes.
feel like I had the benefit of being that person who was at the bottom, learning all the things and learning how to group it into something I could message to somebody else and have them understand. You know what I
Love
mean?
it. Yes.
So when I did my lead magnet, I stuck to like the very basic things that you would need to transform your period into something that is a lot better. The healthy fats, the water, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? The protein,
Yeah.
like those are all very simple things that a lot of people don't even know. So I was like, this is it. This is what I want. And then I created it and it was very quick actually.
Yeah. Yeah. It was. I love that. So that's a really good point you make there because I think what happens is as practitioners, as coaches, like we're the experts. We know all the jargon, the lingo when it comes to health and hormones and wellness and all the things that it's easy to share from that place of knowledge, from that place of like expertise, without realizing that, oh, I'm sharing this thing about hormones in such a complex, complicated way because it makes sense to me.
Right.
But my ideal client who wants to come work with me probably is so confused by this.